Rama was known to be a very just and caring king. Every day he sat in his court trying to solve people's problems. So that day, towards the end of the evening, towards the end of the day when he's to wind up the activities of the court, when he had finished dealing with all the people, he told his brother Lakshmana, who was deeply dedicated to Rama, to go out and see in the yard if there's anybody else waiting. Lakshmana went out, looked around, came back and said, "There is nobody else. We're done with today's business." Rama said, "Go and see, there may be somebody." It was a little unusual thing, he had just seen and come. Once again he says, "Go and see." So Lakshmana again went and looked around, there was nobody. He was just about to come in. Then he noticed a dog which was sitting with a very sad face, and it had a wound on its head. Then he looked at the dog and asked the dog, "Are you waiting for something?" The dog spoke and said, "Yes, I want justice from Rama." Then Lakshmana said, "Why don't you come in?" And he took him into the court. The dog came, bowed down to Rama and spoke. He said, "Oh, Rama, I want justice. For no reason, an act of violence has been committed upon me. I was just sitting by myself. This man, whose name was Sarvartha Siddha, he came and hit me on my head with a stick for no reason at all. I was simply sitting. I want justice." Immediately Rama sent forth for Sarvartha Siddha, who was a beggar. He was brought. So Rama asked, "What is your side of the story?" Here this dog says, "You hit him without any reason." Sarvartha Siddha said, "Yes, I am guilty of the crime that the dog is accusing me of. I was overtaken by hunger, I was angry, I was frustrated. This dog was sitting in my way, so simply for no reason, out of my frustration and anger, I hit this dog on its head. Whatever punishment you want to give, please give me." Then Rama put this forth to his ministers and courtiers. He said, "What is the punishment that you deem for this beggar?" They all thought about it and they said, "Wait a minute. This is a very complicated case. First of all, this is a case where a human being and a dog are involved. So all the laws that we normally know are somehow not applicable. So, it is being the king, it is your prerogative to come up with a judgment." Rama asked the dog, "What do you say? Do you have any suggestion?" The dog said, "Yes, I have an appropriate punishment for this man." "What is it? You speak out." So the dog said, "Make him the chief monk of Kalinjar monastery." Rama said, "So it be." And the beggar was appointed as the chief of the Kalinjar monastery, which was a very celebrated monastery. So Rama gave him an elephant. The beggar climbed the elephant too, pleased with the punishment. With great joy, he rode off to the monastery. So the court said, "What kind of judgment is this? Is this a punishment? The man is too happy." Then Rama asked the dog, "Why don't you explain it?" The dog said, in my previous life, I was the chief monk of the Kalinjar monastery. And I went there because I was truly dedicated to my spiritual well-being and also to the monastery, which was instrumental in imparting spiritual well-being to many other people. I went there with a commitment to offer this to myself and to everybody, and I strived, I did my best. But as days passed, slowly, other impressions in my mind, here and there overtook me. Mostly I remained steadfast to my purpose, but here and there it overtook me. The name and fame that came along with being a chief monk, somewhere affected me. Many times my ego performed, not me. Many times I started enjoying the simple recognition by the people as to who I was. People started treating me like a holy man. Within myself I knew I was not, but I started behaving like one, started demanding the things that should normally belong to a holy person. I did not commit myself to my total transformation, but started pretending like one, and anyway people supported me. Such things happened. And slowly, my commitment for my spiritual well-being and the people around me slowly receded. Many moments I tried to bring myself back, but the overwhelming recognition around me, somewhere I lost myself. And this Sarvartha Siddha, this beggar, has anger in him, has ego in him, is capable of frustration. So I know he will punish himself, as I did. So this is the best punishment for him. Let him be the chief monk of Kalinja monastery. People bring enormous amount of punishment upon themselves, pain and suffering upon themselves. Not necessarily a life committed to evil. Life may be committed to spiritual well-being, life may be committed to many good things, but every day they choose and re-choose. They don't allow their destiny to take shape. They keep destabilizing themselves by constantly falling off and falling on, falling off and falling on. They will bring enormous trouble to themselves. Not because there's anything evil about them, simply because they don't allow life to form itself. It is like keep on disturbing that which is taking shape. Every time you choose and unchoose, you distort the course of your destiny. Lot of sadhana, lot of things. Today, if you face a frustrating situation, no situation is frustrating. If some situation you see and you get frustrated, then you unchoose from the path that you have taken. Tomorrow morning again you are on, but by unchoosing yourself for a few hours, you have destabilized the formation of your destiny, the course of your destiny. A very beautiful incident happened in Ramayana. Rama, too many unfortunate happenings in his life. He is a king, for some reason, he loses his kingdom, or he gives up his kingdom, or whichever way, or he's conned out of his kingdom, or he's too gentle to protest and walks away from it into the jungle, lives a hard life. Then his wife gets kidnapped by Ravan. And then, having love for his wife and being despondent about the loss of her and being concerned what could be happening to her, he walks all the way down south, gathers an army of Tamil people. Yeah, who else was in Tamil Nadu? And gets across to Sri Lanka, wages a war, defeats Ravan in the battle, slays him. As all of you know, Ravan had 10 heads. With one you're struggling. He had 10. So Rama went about, 10 slaughters, so that the man is dead. Battle won, they're coming back to Ayodhya. Rama chooses, he says, I don't want to go back to the kingdom, I want to go to Himalayas and spend some time in the cave of Agastya Muni, because I want to repent for the great sin that I have committed. I have killed someone who was pious, a great devotee of Shiva, a phenomenal scholar, a great king, a generous man. The others were shocked. Lakshmana, his brother, said, "What are you talking about? Ravana kidnapped your wife." So Rama said, "See, those are the other 9 heads. In these other 9 heads of his, he had greed, jealousy, lust, all kinds of things. But there was one head which had great wisdom, knowledge, piety, devotion. I regret taking that head. I would have liked to leave that head alone, not kill the man, but there was no way to do it, so I had to do this. But I am in great repentance because I took away that one head." What this is trying to tell you is, all of you have 10 or more heads, all kinds of things. Do you see? One day your head is in greed, another day in jealousy, another day in hatred, another day in love, another day in beauty, another day in ugliness. Yes or no? Or the same day you go through everything? If I see you in a moment of jealousy, I'll say, "This is a jealous one." If I see you in a moment of greed, I say, "This is a greedy one." If I see you in a moment of hatred, I say, "That is a hateful one." If I see you in a moment of lust, I say, "That's a lustful one." No. Everybody has 10 and more heads. At different times, different heads are working. But everybody has head, at least one head of love, beauty, generosity, compassion, at least one head. There is. So the biggest mistake you do in your life is that instead of identifying and condemning a quality, you condemn an individual person. This is what Rama is trying to say. It doesn't matter, he did so many horrible things. Those are the other 9 heads, but that one head I saw of tremendous possibility. But unfortunately, I had to take that. I want all of you to follow this fundamental principle in the ashram and wherever else you may be, that if you see something wrong in somebody, we will only condemn that, not him or her. If you bring this wisdom in this new year, if you just bring this wisdom, this bogey, all the baggage will go. When you do this to others, the same will happen to you. There is no need to conclude, I am this way, I am that way, or I am like this only. Well, that's how you've been in some moments. In some moments you've been a horrible creature. In some moments you've been beautiful. In some moments you've been ugly. In some moments you've been wonderful. If you don't empower the possibility and take away that which blocks your possibility, then you are not a spiritual seeker. You are we must make you a kangaroo court judge. She's not okay, she's not okay, he's not okay, he's not okay, he's not okay, he's not okay. And there are a few new people here whom we're yet to know they are beautiful. You know? That is a judgmental life. Otherwise, the more you get to know somebody, more love and compassion should happen because now you know all their struggles and problems and things. And suddenly you know, they are bloody as human as you are. Yes? Rama is doing penance for having killed a man who kidnaps his wife, and he's done many terrible things. But Rama is still identifying, there was one head which was so beautiful, I shouldn't have removed that. This is a man of great wisdom. This is why he is worshipped. Every sensible human being is like this. If you see a rose plant, we call it a rose plant. Tell me, are there more roses or more thorns? More thorns. But we call it a rose plant because we recognize the beauty. Maybe only one rose, but 1,000 thorns, but we still call it a rose plant. If you see a mango tree, there are more mangoes or more leaves? Definitely more leaves. We don't call it a leaf tree, we call it a mango tree because we recognize the sweetness that it drops. Those drops of sweetness, full of leaf, but that one mango, wow, mango tree. Why don't we see this in people? If there is one drop of sweetness. Have you seen any human being without a single drop of sweetness? Have you seen? Then please do this. Before Pongal or Mattu Pongal comes, depending on which category you are. Please, everybody around you, the people that you work with on a daily basis, people with whom you've been rubbing, no, not rubbing shoulders, oh no. Just do this. The people that horrible person, this terrible woman, just see that one drop of sweetness can you recognize, because if you cannot recognize that, it will not reflect in you. You better know that. Terrible things that you see in other people will reflect in you. This does not mean you should become blind to everything. No, we see the leaf in the tree, we see the thorns in the rose bush, but we acknowledge the flower and the fruit. That's all we need to do. Rama's birthday is also coming in a couple of months. Let's make this happen.
गङ्गातरङ्गरमणीयजटाकलापम् गौरी निरन्तरविभूषितवामभागम् नारायणप्रियमनङ्गमदापहारम् वाराणसीपुरपतिं भज विश्वनाथम् वाचामगोचरमनेकगुणस्वरूपम् वागीश विष्णुसुरसेवितपादपीठम् वामेण विग्रहवरेण कलत्रवन्तम् वाराणसीपुरपतिं भज विश्वनाथम् भज विश्वनाथम् भज विश्वनाथम् भज विश्वनाथम् भज विश्वनाथम् भूताधिपं भुजगभूषणभूषिताङ्गम् व्याघ्राजिनाम्बरधरं जटिलं त्रिनेत्रम् पाशाङ्कुशाभयवरप्रदशूलपाणिम् वाराणसीपुरपतिं भज विश्वनाथम् सीतां सुशोभितकिरीटविराजमानम् फालेक्षणानडविशोषितपञ्चबाणम् नागादिपारचितभासुरकर्णपूरम् वाराणसीपुरपतिं भज विश्वनाथम् भज विश्वनाथम् भज विश्वनाथम् भज विश्वनाथम् भज विश्वनाथम् पञ्चाननं दुरिदमत्तमदङ्गजाना नागान्तकं धनुजपुङ्गवपन्नगाना दावानलं मरणशोकजराटवीणा वाराणसीपुरपतिं भज विश्वनाथम् तेजोमयं सगुणनिर्गुणमद्वितीयम् आनन्दखण्डमपराजितमप्रमेयम् नागात्मकं सकलनिष्कळमात्मरूपम् वाराणसीपुरपतिं भज विश्वनाथम् भज विश्वनाथम् भज विश्वनाथम् भज विश्वनाथम् भज विश्वनाथम् आशां विहाय परिहृत्य परस्य निन्दा पापेरतिं च सुनिवार्य मनस्समाधौ आदाय हृत्कमलमध्यगतं परेशम् वाराणसीपुरपतिं भज विश्वनाथम् रागादिदोषरहितं स्वजनानुरागम् वैराग्यशान्तिनिलयं गिरिजासहायम् माधुर्यधैर्यसुभगं गरलाभिरामम् वाराणसीपुरपतिं भज विश्वनाथं 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 भज विश्वनाथं